It's been a big week in politics with the government's long-awaited announcement on its climate change policies, the great success we had on moves to change the driving age, and the wonderful farce we've had about the Christian party that was, that isn't, that might be, but who knows, let alone who might lead it. After months and months of waiting and speculation and far too much secrecy, the government finally announced this week its emissions trading strategy, its grand approach to climate change issues. What's interesting about it is that most political parties, including United Future, to a greater or lesser extent, support the moves. That's good. It means that probably the regime has a chance of surviving this parliament and on into the future. What's still a little worrying, though, is that the devil is, as always, in the detail. There's no draft legislation. Too much of this still has to be worked out over the next couple of months, so we really don't know where the fishhooks might be and how the problems are going to be resolved. One thing we do know is that households are going to pay more for fuel and power, and whilst that's probably inevitable, and the government's talking about some form of compensation, I want to say this: they better not think that they can use the excuse about compensating households and families for increased power and fuel charges as a way of avoiding addressing the overwhelming and outstanding need for tax cuts and tax reform. And United Future is not going to let them go down that path and let tax cuts slip off the agenda once again. On Thursday, Parliament did something unprecedented. It granted leave for a bill to be introduced to raise the driving age. Now that can happen from time to time, but the unprecedented thing was, here was I, a government minister, seeking leave to introduce a bill in my name, although not my portfolio, and the government and Parliament agreeing that this should happen. The significance of it is this: that it will now proceed far more rapidly as a government bill, probably in the next month or so, than it would if it was a private member's bill, but the best chance once a fortnight, but even much lesser chance than that. What the bill does is say that the minimum age that you can start the process of getting a driver's licence is lifted from 15 to 16 years, and the period that you can hold a provisional or temporary licence is extended from 6 to 12 months, which means that under the bill's provisions you can't start to get your licence till you're 16, and you won't be able to apply for a full licence until you're 18. Polls show around 87% of New Zealanders support such a change. Messages into my office show about 90% of people are in favour, and so I think this is long overdue and very welcome, and I'm looking forward to the bill going to a select committee and being considered there. But these big events really all pale into a bit of insignificance alongside the ongoing farce this week about the development of a new Christian party. I said at the time it was first mooted that anything that involved Tamaki and the black shirts was doomed to fail, and so it proved to be. But I couldn't have imagined the spectacular nature of the unravelling and the dramatic way in which that occurred. United Future looks on with some wry amusement. We haven't got involved in the issue. Simply make the observation that finding the elusive pan-Christian party is probably going to be as difficult as the 500-year plus search for Christian unity. Denominational difficulties have prevented that happening. I think it's a bit fanciful to suddenly think that they can all be laid aside in the interest of one common approach to politics. Be that as it may, we know where we're going. We're focused on our role as a party that's caring about families, communities, and the people that support others. We're here for the long haul, and we're looking forward to what lies ahead. That was the Week in Politics for this week. I'll be back, I guess, from time to time with one or two updates.